Growing up, I loved cartoons, and I still do in my 20s. Creators can tell stories and show off anything, and the only limit is your imagination. And of the 3 channels I watched religiously as a kid, I was more of a Cartoon Network watcher. Sure, I still watched Nickelodeon and Disney Channel and Disney XD, but Cartoon Network had the best shows. Ed and Eddie is still the best show in my opinion. It's hilarious, zany, and the art style stands out so much from other shows at the time, even now. Creator Danny Tucci made the show on a dare, and he crafted one of the funniest and best shows aimed at kids. There was also Codenamed Kids Next Door, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Samurai Jack, Chowder, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and plenty of others. Now, when Cartoon Network made the transition in the 2010s, kicked off with shows like Adventure Time and Regular Show, many saw a shift in the network's attitude. Many do still enjoy both Adventure Time and Regular Show, but around when Secret Mountain Fort Awesome and The Problem Solvers went to air, it feels like Cartoon Network got Mufasa'd by its audience.
Long live the king.
People hated the direction the channel was going in, focusing on these goofy comedies as opposed to the shows of the classic era. Then a little show called Steven Universe changed everything. A show that focused more on telling an engrossing and ongoing story and developing characters rather than having cheap jokes, though the show was still a comedy. Steven Universe blew up in popularity. Merchandising at the yazoo, a movie, a sequel series, countless fan fictions, and fan art pieces being made and shared across the internet. To this day, this show was big. Now, two of the writers, Ben Levin and Matt Burnett, made a pilot in 2017 called Craig at the Creek, that got greenlit into a full series and premiered on March 30th, 2017, alongside Summer Camp Island and other shows. Around this time, we've seen story-driven cartoons take the form of BoJack Horseman for adults, and Gravity Falls beginning in 2012 and finishing in 2016 for kids, but can still be watched by adults. And Craig of the Creek is right along with those shows, as well as shows the classic Cartoon Network eras. How is that? Well, let's go through it. Craig of the Creek is a slice-of-life cartoon about 3 kids, named Craig, Kelsey, and JP, exploring the kid society of the Creek. Craig is the leader and map maker of the group, wanting to explore the creek and cataloging elements of it. Kelsey is the warrior of the group, accompanied by her mighty falcon, Mortimer. She carries a PVC sword and has inner monologues throughout the series. And JP is the goof of the group. He wears an oversized jersey and provides the biggest laughs in the show. There are plenty of other kids in the creek, including Kit, who runs the trading tree, where kids can get snacks their parents don't approve of. The 10 Speeds, who are constantly shown riding bikes. The Sewer Queen, who rules over the maze-like sewers of the creek. She was actually in the pilot episode. The Horse Girls, Stax, the Elders of the Creek, and too many more characters to list out here. The cast are given time to shine and show off what makes their characters unique. But we really focus on Craig and his family more often. When your dad is Terry freaking Crews and your brother is Phil Lamar, Samurai Jack and Hermes and Futurama, yeah, we're gonna focus more on this family.
Craig, how old do you think I am?
I don't know, like 20, 30 centuries old?
Cuts deep, my guy.
We do see JP and Kelsey's family in other episodes, but it's not super often. Each episode presents the kids with a problem, but a problem relative to the size and scope of the show. For example, one episode has Craig and Kit going to get ice pops for the trading tree. Another has Craig eating a sour candy while this insane world of Craig's imagination tells a large part of the story. Or in one of the best standalone episodes, we see Craig and his friends help out real-life band Bad Moves. We'll talk about them again later. So you may be thinking, this sounds kinda dumb, or too childish to be enjoyed a target demographic. And yes, while there's still a kid's show at the sound of the sousaphone, the show is honestly really good and has something for anyone to enjoy. So let's break this down, starting with the animation. You may be watching the clips I'm showing off and think it looks quite simple in the art style department. Yes, but when it needs to be more insane, such as in fight scenes or in the musical sequences, it goes there. And the coloring of the show just feels cozy to look at. Largely, the creek is shown in the summer months, so there's greens and warm summer colors throughout most of the show's run. Episodes in the second and third seasons show the creek in fall and winter, which gives the landscape that we've known fairly well at this point new life. The creek in fall is beautiful. Craig of the Creek is a well-written show, with character writing, storytelling, and world building. I'll get more into the story later, but the characters all work well. From Sparkle Cadet, a parody of Sailor Moon, who is very upbeat and works well with the main characters in her first episode, to Stax, the library girl who teams up with the main trio and becomes a recurring character. She grows and changes from her first appearance. There's even an episode where Kelsey and JP are away, so Craig has an adventure with Sparkle Cadet and Cannonball of the 10 Speeds in the episode Ice Pop Trio. It gives us a dynamic I would love to see more of, and the humor. God, the show can be honestly hilarious. Each 11-minute episode, or 22-minute special episode, has at least one joke that cracks me up. I won't spoil any of them, but they range from references to other cartoons or anime, either in the background or in dialogue, or just something that catches me off guard that I can't help but laugh at. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about the music in this show! The score is composed by Jeff Rosenstock, who is tied to a whole laundry list of bands in the punk and ska scene. The show has a upbeat and fun intro with horns, and the background music is honestly some really good pieces of music. Sadly, the only release tied to the show on streaming services is from the musical episode In the Key of the Creek, where Craig imagines an adventure while stuck inside when it's raining. I'll have a link down below so you can listen to it for yourself. The show also has 2 musical guests, as of writing this with the 3rd season wrapped and the 4th season underway. I mentioned Bad Moose who played themselves in the episode Vulture's Nest. This was my introduction to the band, and I honestly really like this sound. It's honestly cool that a show aimed towards kids can use a smaller garage rock band in an episode, and I hope we get more bands in the future. But the other musical guests, holy God. In the episode The Kid from 3030, the main trio find a robot kid who raps about his predicament, and it's Del the Funky Homo Sapien, better known as that guy who raps during Clint Eastwood and Rock the House by Gorillaz. Dead serious. And when he comes back later on in the series, in a moment that rivals Cap lifting Thor's hammer in Endgame, yeah, that was cool. From all the way back in Season 1, in the episode Under the Overpass, there are hints of another side of the creek, with the introduction to a new character known as the Green Poncho, which I just realized as I'm writing this is a plan of the Green Arrow. Damn, the show's good. But we are told there's a whole other side of the creek that has hints in episodes like Jessica's Trail and Return of the Honeysuckle Rangers, but we get full confirmation of the other side and what goes on in the special episode The Other Side. From then, the looming threat of the other side is always there, even if the characters don't bring it up often. Later episodes do have more focus towards the other side of the creek to drive the story forward, culminating in the 5-part Season 3 finale event, Capture the Flag. It's honestly one of the best season finales I've ever seen, since we've known the other side since the beginning. Other events in the show have helped to lead to this moment, but I won't say which episodes this happens in. You'll have to watch the show for yourself to find out. Craig of the Creek feels both nostalgic and modern. It embraces the feeling of being a kid now with how it felt to be kids when we were kids. Granted, I was never like Craig and his friends, as I was more of a shut-in, but I can see elements of myself in these characters, and I'm fairly certain you will as well. But it's still a modern show taking place in modern day. These kids have smartphones and use them when needed. Sometimes I forget it's taking place in modern day, until someone pulls out a smartphone, but that's how it should be. Shows can still have kids using technology, they just need to be smart with how they use it to make them feel timeless. However, it's not just the smartphones that make the show modern, it's what it embraces. Craig of the Creek has a few characters that are non-binary, even using they-them pronouns for characters who wish to be addressed in this fashion. There's 2 older girls who the kids call witches who turn out to be in a relationship with each other, and the best part is, no one has a problem with it. There isn't some character being a jackwagon going around being a bunch of these characters. They just exist, and that's it. In a time when not everyone is accepting towards these types of people, it's nice that a show aimed towards a younger crowd shows that it's fine to be one way, or being this person, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see a better tomorrow for the future generation, one with kindness. Craig of the Creek is not just one of the best shows from modern Cartoon Network. It's one of the best Cartoon Network shows, period. And coming from me, that's saying a lot. Lovable characters, a world that feels both old and new, an engrossing story, great characters, great music, great animation, and a love for anyone. This show is honestly near perfection. If you have a way to watch this show, please do. I think it's worth it, not just for kids, but for adults. And as Cartoon Network approves, I consider that high praise.